Philly with John Marks on PHLY. I hope I'm there I am. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY on a Thursday morning. We are live. Yes. In the home studio, as always, Philly with John Marks, sponsored by Bet Parks. I have my my purple Yeti today that holds, it's a 30-ounce tumbler. I bought this for my wife for Mother's Day, and she's like, it's too big. She's never said that before, by the way. It's too big. It doesn't have a handle. And I'm like, yeah, that was kind of stupid to buy that. So this purple tumbler has become mine because I don't mind drinking a 40 or a near 40 of coffee. So shout out to everybody this morning. A lot to get to today. Professor Michael Bradley of Villanova University, longtime writer, my former host when one of my first breaks in the business, when I was a producer for the 950 morning show, Michael Bradley, Glenn Foley. You've heard Glenn Foley you've seen Glenn Foley on the show before. Michael Bradley was on, I think, 2 weeks ago, and he, as usual, was excellent. He'll join us in about 20 minutes. He covered college basketball for a long time, but he's a big-time Phillies guy. We will talk Phillies. Give me like 7, 8, 9 minutes here on the Eagles, and then we'll talk Phillies. When the Phillies don't play, whether it's an off day or, as in last night, it's a rain out, I don't know what the hell to do with myself. The Phillies are my biggest companion during the spring and the summer, and if it's not at least in the background, I really don't know what to do with myself. Last night, you know what I did? I went to social media. I went to Twitter, or X, formerly Twitter, and I said, hey, I need Phillies conversation. And I got a lot of it. And I was only insulted 10 or 15 times and told I didn't know what I was talking about. So I have some Phillies things to say coming up here. Give me a second. Let's talk about the Eagles, because I saw this yesterday. First things first, speakeasy take, whatever it is, the show on FS1 that LeSean McCoy is on. And he had this to say yesterday on his show. Here he is. Shady McCoy.
The way he coached is like way different from how they played this year. I'm about to say, like AJ told me, well, players tell me that the offense is really the offense. No doubt. They don't care who the corner is. You come over here to fit the Jalen Hurts offense.
No doubt. Wouldn't you agree that you would?
But the way he coached,
that's it. Very, very short and sweet. And then that loser. Chase McDaniels. Yeah, we'll just call him Chase McDaniels. He starts spouting nonsense. So what he says, and a lot of people are running with this and trying to make it a big deal. He says it's Jalen Hurts' offense, essentially, right? Yeah, it is. He's absolutely right. It's Jalen's offense. He said that's what AJ Brown told him. Well, I mean, Eagles players, which is kind of crappy for LeSean to do. I mean, ultimately, I don't think it matters, but by him saying that, he's almost inferring that AJ Brown was bitching to him about this being Jalen Hurts' offense. So let's break it down. The Eagles just won a Super Bowl. So there should be no complaints out of anybody. And I don't think there's complaints out of AJ Brown. I don't know when he said this to Shady, right? And what he said is absolutely true. This is Jalen Hurts' offense. This isn't Jalen Hurts' offense as in, oh my God, he's the best talent at quarterback in the last 25 years. We're going to build this 2025 NFL offense after Jalen Hurts. He's so dynamic. He can run. He can pass. He's the number one player in the league, best quarterback. He could be Tom Brady, the GOAT. He'll be the GOAT when it's all said and done. That's really not what anybody's talking about. What he's talking about, like, this is a college offense. The Eagles run a college offense. And the new offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, spoke yesterday. I don't know if that's how they got into the conversation, because context is lost on most people in 2025, including me sometimes. And I don't really care where the context came from. But I saw a lot of people complaining either about AJ or, what do you mean this is Jalen Hurts' offense? This is Jalen Hurts' offense. This is a college offense. This is a run-heavy offense. This is the quarterback is going to run a lot offense. This is a tush-push offense. Look at how they manufacture scoring. Oh, and by the way, they throw the ball when they want to. And they can be a dynamic passing team when they want to. Look what they did in the Super Bowl. Look what they did when they decided that they wanted to pass. But that's not what was required of this team last year. They won the Super Bowl. What are people complaining about? This is Jalen Hurts' offense. You know what that means? They're going to run the ball a lot. They have a lot of college concepts. There's RPOs. He's going to run it. There's design runs. There's the tush push. This is a college-style offense. And it's okay. They've been running the same college-style offense since he became the quarterback. This isn't new. And again, it doesn't mean that this is Peyton Manning coming in or this is Dan Marino back in the day, and they're designing this offense and they're saying like, man, you got to fit into whatever those guys are doing because that's what we're running here. Sorry. No, that's not the context of the actual point. I don't know what the hell Shady's doing. The point is, this is what Jalen does. We're not going to throw the ball 50 times a game because that's what the NFL wants you to do. We're comfortable throwing it 25, 20, 30 times, 35 times. Whatever they need to do to win is what they're going to do. Hey, we have Saquon Barkley. All right, well, have him rush for 2,000 yards. In years that they can't run the ball as well, let's say this year, I'm not trying to will it to happen, but when you look at Saquon Barkley's career and you look at his injury history, he was healthy last year. He was as productive as any running back in I don't know how long. He ran for 2,000 yards. So if he was to have a couple games where he's nicked up or whatever in future years where maybe they don't have the dynamic running game, Jalen's going to have to throw the ball more. And I think he'll be perfectly fine doing that. But he's at his best when he's throwing the ball 30 to 35 times at most. Doesn't mean that he can't. But if you're going out there, like we've seen a lot of, look at the top quarterbacks in the league. They want to be out there throwing the ball 35, 40, 45, 50 times a game. That's not what you want Jalen Hurts doing. And that's not something I don't think you're ever going to want Jalen Hurts doing. And that's totally fine. Turn the ball over less. Be more efficient when you throw the ball. Right? And literally, this isn't a criticism of Jalen Hurts. I think we all need to be comfortable with what he is. He's comfortable with what he is. If anything, he should be patted on the back and applauded for not having a big ego of having to throw the ball a lot. How many NFL quarterbacks would be pissed if they're throwing the ball 25 times a game? If they're being looked at, I mean, think about it. Jalen Hurts is being crushed all year long as they're winning games. After they won the Super Bowl, these idiots like Chris Sims and Chase McDaniel, they come out and what do? Remember what this passing offense looked like. And I think we're all guilty of wondering what the passing offense looked like. But then you get to a point and you say, all right, but this is how they want to play. This is how they're playing. It's effective. This is how they're going to win. They can keep playing like this. I think that was the biggest thing for a lot of people and something that I had to actually be comfortable with saying. Yeah, they can keep winning like this. No, they're not going to have to throw the ball 50 times a game. And when they had to throw the ball, like in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts did it because he can do it. So a lot's going to be talked about. This is not a negative thing to say. This is Jalen Hurts' offense. AJ's more or less saying, like, when you come to Philly, this is what the offense is going to be. And if you are coming to Philly thinking that you're going to get 15 targets every game, and we're going to be throwing for 5,000 passing yards, you're not. A.J. Brown was just ranked the top wide receiver by Pro Football Focus, and it's considered a top 3 or top 5 receiver by pretty much everybody. He doesn't have the gaudy stats. Everybody sees through it. They realize the weapon that A.J. Brown is. So absolutely, positively no problem at all. This portion of the program brought to you by GLAT Hair Restoration, GLATHairMM.com, 610-980-4000. You could text them, 610-980-4000. Phillies last night, no Phillies game. I'm lost. My wife's also away. She's out of town for work. So it's just me and the kids. And my girls love watching the Phillies with me. They play softball. It's how I teach them the game. It's how they understand the ins and the outs. There's a runner on second base. Now it's not a forced play. You're not going to run with a 3-2 count with 2 outs. Just things like that. They love watching it, and it's it's one of the coolest things to watch the Phillies with them and watch them grow as fans. So when they don't play and I have to explain, no, the game's rained out because my daughter's game got rained out last night. They're like, oh. So we watched the Voice or something like that. Anyway, but I'm lost. I'm lost without my Phillies. So I put something out on social media and there was a ton of people wanting to talk Phillies last night. So a couple things here. One, retaliation. I saw a lot about retaliation yesterday. I think Spike on WIP was yelling about how fans need to be quiet and everybody's out for blood because Bryce Harper got hit with a pitch. Now, being on talk radio, it's the proper take, and it's the take that I would have had as well. Like, shut up. You're not going to go out and take somebody's head off because Bryce Harper got hit by a pitch. Now, like I said, if I was doing talk radio, which I'm not, I don't have to fill 4 hours. So we talked about it yesterday. Blackbeard and I talked about it yesterday. I said that I didn't think that Spencer Strider intentionally hit Bryce Harper, and I don't believe that. Do I think he was trying to back him off the plate? Yeah, of course. Do I think he was trying to throw it, like pitch him inside and get him? Yeah, of course. Yes. And if he gets hit in the process, Bryce Harper gets hit a lot. And he's not a guy that's necessarily really hovering over the plate. He's always messing with his stance, but he's not super duper close to the plate to where you can see why he gets hit so much. He gets hit a lot because guys are trying to move him off the plate. They're trying to change the eye level. They're trying to back him off. I don't believe it was on purpose. And if you look at Strider's reaction, if you look at his control and his command, pretty much this year, he's kind of all over the place. So I don't think it was intentional. With that being said, it doesn't mean that there shouldn't be retaliation. Because when Bryce Harper, your best player, or when Bryce Harper, when he gets hit, and he gets hit a lot, man, and if you look at some of the times he's been hit, the busted thumb, the ricochet off the face, I was reading somebody that had all the different instances, how many times he's been hit. And like some have been significant, some he's lost a couple of games from it. Some he's just like had to leave the game where he got hit. But you remember him. It's okay to retaliate. You don't have to do it the next half inning where you send Ricky Metallico up there like he did against Barry Bonds and you throw at his neck. That's not the way it works, right? So would I be surprised in the doubleheader today if somebody on the Braves doesn't get intentionally hit? Actually, I would be surprised if a Brave didn't get hit because the Phillies, I'm okay with them sending a message saying, like, you could have broken his elbow or his hand. We know it's not intentional, but like, you gotta be more careful. Totally fine. Retaliation is okay. Don't throw at his head. Just send a message. You don't have to do it the same game. Oftentimes, it's not done in the same game. It was a one-run game. The Phillies offense the Braves offense was the last thing you want to do, even with 2 outs, is to throw at somebody. So you have 2 games today because now you have a doubleheader. You're going to get plenty of opportunities, hopefully, where you want to give somebody a bow tie, you want to throw and hit him in a butt. You can do it. And you can do it today. You can send a message. So Rob Thompson getting killed, the Phillies being called soft because they never retaliate. If you watch enough baseball, you'll realize it's not often that the next inning somebody's getting the 95-mile-an-hour fastball to their shoulder in retaliation. Yeah, of course, sometimes it happens. But in this particular case, I'm fine with something happening today. And you know what? I hope the Braves get pissed. Good. Let the Braves get pissed. He almost broke Bryce Harper's elbow. So, yeah, I'm fine with retaliations. But let's not go crazy with thirsting for blood and killing the team and Rob Thompson because they didn't bean somebody in the head 2 seconds after it actually happened. I mean, the Phillies are on a great run here. Last thing you want to do is screw it up by getting into a beanball game where then they're throwing at one of your guys and guys are getting suspended or you wake the Braves up in a game. The Braves are struggling right now, man. Let them struggle. Phillies are 35-6-19. They were 13-13 at one point. Are you kidding me? Let's not mess around because we're thirsty for blood from another team. All right, Michael Bradley's coming out. What else with the Phillies? Real fast. I talked a lot about trades. Couple things on this. I do not believe the Phillies are acquiring a center fielder. Johan Rojas has been good, and I think Marsh can be an adequate platoon with him. And if you acquire a center fielder, there's going to be an odd man out. Rhys Hoskins, his name has been thrown out there. I think it's interesting. I would love the right-handed bat. I don't think it particularly fits on the Phillies roster because then Bryce would have to go to the outfield, and Rhys sucks at first base defensively. Kyle Schwarber is your DH. I'm not putting him in left field other than in a pinch or every once in a blue moon. So it just doesn't feel like it fits to me. If there's an injury or something like that, sure. But if Hoskins is your first baseman, Harper goes to right field, Castellanos goes to left field, Kepler's making a lot of money, and he's been pretty productive. What, he all of a sudden, he's a bench player? Rojas and Marsh? If you're going to make a trade in the outfield or you lose somebody because of injury, like, all right, then we can talk. Right now, I just don't think that it's going to happen. And again, I'll reiterate with center field. I don't believe the Phillies are making a move at center field, and I wouldn't make a move for center fielder. If it's an obvious upgrade and you can get them on the cheap, like, all right, circumstances can change. If Rojas and Marsh suck between now and the deadline, I'll probably feel differently. Right now, I don't. I don't need a center field upgrade. I think they're doing fine. And you're really looking at a bullpen arm, right? You're looking at a closer. So maybe they'll get an extra outfielder. To me, this roster is pretty much set. Things can change over the course of the next 2 months, though. All right, Michael Bradley. So big Phillies guy. We'll talk Phillies. Also, if he was the 76ers, who does he draft at 3? Michael has covered college basketball for a really, really long time. And he'll talk to us coming up right after this. Philly with John Marks. Damn it, don't go anywhere. We're back right after this. Back in 2 and 2. Thank you. Julia Hoff is producing today, by the way. All right, so check it out, right? Like Empire Today, flooring experts. So if you're in the market for carpeting, flooring, like I got to keep it simple, all right? Because I'm probably above average intelligence, but that's waning. I'm losing some brain cells over the course of my life, and I'm getting older now. So I'm not going to outsmart myself by going to the big box store because you always think you're going to save money. Like, but if I go to blankety blank, I can get a sale or whatever. And then you go there and you're like, I don't know what to get. And you're wandering the aisles and you're like, well, where the hell is somebody? I need help. And then Larry from plumbing has to come over because somebody called out in flooring that day, right? Don't do it. You're not going to save money. Then you got to haul the stuff away. You got to pay for delivery. You got to find somebody to do it. At Empire Today, you're getting flooring experts. It's all they do, right? So if you're in the market, carpeting, hardwood, laminate, whatever it is, it makes such a big difference when you get it. The aesthetic of your house, what it makes it look like, right? So they bring the showroom to you. This isn't some... like you go to the showroom and you're like, well, we think we like this. When they bring the showroom to you, damn, it just looks better. And you can put it, say like, oh, here's what it looks like with my furniture. Here's what it looks like with the color of my walls. Here's what it looks like with this in your home. And it's a free in-home estimate. Empire Today. How about this? Clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. No pricing games here, everybody. And you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. And PHLY listeners, how about this? You can see the graphic right there if you're watching. $350 discount. Use the promo code PHLY. That's correct. A $350 discount with code PHLY. Restrictions do apply. Visit Empire Today/PHLY for full details. Empire Today/PHLY. All right, Bet Parks, where are we at? We got a doubleheader. You know what that means? Okay, well, it means 2 baseball games this afternoon in Philadelphia. It also means 2 more games that you can get to the Bet Parks app right now. And you can live bet baseball. That's right, live bet baseball. But not only that, right? Like, who do you like today? You like maybe Zach Wheeler over on strikeouts? Right? So, pro hoops, pro hockey playoffs are killing it right now. Your Philadelphia baseball team. How about live dealer blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, hot online slots? That's all available on the BetParks app, right there on the same app. So get to betparks.com, download the app right now. New users Get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Again, betparks.com. Enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for betparks. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. betparks. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. We are back. Philly with John Marks. Michael Bradley is going to join us here coming up in a moment, as we'll go Phillies and 76ers with him. I hate watching the NBA playoffs because I hate getting angry at the Sixers, because it drives me absolutely bonkers when I watch well-constructed teams and not what they've done with the 76ers, which is, just max out Paul George. We need a max spot. Well, I'll be able to finagle the cap and trade some players around, and we'll have a max spot. We'll sign Paul George 35. Joel Embiid, huge injury history. Tyrese Maxey, who I love. No, it's not going to work. It is not going to work, and it's going to be ugly. And it amazes me. And I don't mean this as an insult, because, I'm a 76er fan. I'm just a frustrated 76er fan. But when I go online to social media and I see Sixers fans that are just so delusional that everything has to be about Embiid. Like, I saw one thread last night that said SGA, Embiid's so much better than SGA. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He's going to the NBA Finals. He's the MVP, and we're trying to say that Embiid's better. Why? Who cares what Embiid did previously? Joel Embiid is he's an all-time 76er. He's one of the great talents as a 76er. Hold on a second. Julia, are we waiting on Michael? Because the last time that we had Michael Bradley on, he was like, he had the wrong time, even though I followed up with him. And then he's like, I thought it was 45. Michael obviously is a senior. Do we have him here? All right, Michael Bradley's shooting on in a second.
I've been here since 8/18. Okay, don't give me this senior crap.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
And I'm not a senior.
No, you're a professor. You're out of high school. You're a professor. Professor Michael Bradley. What's up, Mike?
How are you? I've been sitting there listening to you do commercials and badmouth the Sixers. And I was upset because I didn't get a chance to badmouth the Sixers.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it from the start, because I don't like it, and I shouldn't, like, social media is not real life, so I shouldn't let it work me up. But so many 76ers fans are like this. Joel Embiid is an all-time 76er. I'm not going to rank him or put him in some category. He's a tremendous talent. He's never been to an Eastern Conference final. Charles Barkley, tremendous talent, has never been to an Eastern Conference. He never was to an Eastern Conference final with the 76ers, right? A lot of that was Michael Jordan and the talent around him. But still, if I'm being fair about it, and I love Barkley much more than I love Embiid, like, at some point we have to realize that being a great talent and being a former MVP doesn't mean squat. This team right now, with a 35-year-old Paul George, with a Tyrese Maxey, I like McCain, and their draft pick, great. What does that mean for next year? This team's not winning squat next year, and if your expectation is that they're going to make a run at the NBA Finals, you're nuts. You're nuts, and you're just going to disappoint yourself.
You're exactly right. And here's the thing that fans don't understand, because the NBA's publicity machine and its propaganda partners in the media perpetuate this star system, right? James Harden is one of the all-time losers in NBA history. His Game 7 statistics are horrid, okay? Yet the league continues to promote him as a superstar. We're seeing what's going on with Oklahoma City right now, okay? SGA, as you said, the MVP, although you can make a really strong case that the Joker should have been the MVP again this year.
Yep.
But one of the two best players in the game this year. You've got the big guy with the sunken chest, Holmgren. You've got the other guy, McDaniels. They've got a big three, but it's not a big three that is all talk like the Sixers have. You have to have winners at this time of the year. Anthony Edwards is a great player, but he's not a winner right now. He can't win those games. You're looking at the Knicks. Jalen Brunson is a tremendous player, but the rest of the Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns, love Josh Hart, love Michael Bridges, but they're not good enough yet to be winners. That's what you want. If you're a Sixers fan, stop talking about, oh, Joel Embiid's one of the greatest of all time. He's injury prone. He'll never be great like he was again for 82 games. He's never gotten past the second round of the playoffs. You can't put him with Moses Malone and Dr. J and even Wilt Chamberlain, who won a championship in 67. So this team is highly imperfect, and no matter who they get in the draft, it's not going to be a championship team.
So when I say this, it gets a reaction, and I know it, and I still say it, but it's also the context is important. Joel Embiid is a loser. He doesn't know how to win. He doesn't know how to win. Remember when Jokic won the MVP and he was disappointed and he moped around at practice at shoot around. He didn't talk to anybody. And then he came out, and I don't remember if it was a deciding game, but he came out the playoff game that night and he just looked disinterested because he was upset and he was moping around because not winning the MVP. He's focused on the wrong things. His professionalism is low. The fact that Tyrese Maxey had to call him out at a team meeting and say that he's late for everything, and then it was leaked, probably by the team, that Maxey had to do that because they're trying to get him to freaking figure it out. Like, you can look at Embiid and say, oh, well, there hasn't been a good enough team around him. Baloney. This team had plenty of talent, and maybe it wasn't all his fault. I'm not totally blaming him, but like, he's got to be the first person you look at. Michael, instead of bringing in Paul George, what they needed to do was bring in veteran guys that knew how to win and that were a part of winning teams. I think they tried that with bringing some Miami guys in here, but remember Embiid, and I know I'm talking a long time here. Remember Embiid after they lost to the Heat? And he's like, oh, we need to get tougher. We need PJ Tucker. No, dude, you need to get tougher. And you brought PJ Tucker in here, and it's like, oh, my God, this guy blows. What are we doing with him in here? Anyway, go ahead. That's how I feel.
Embiid is going to make $60 million next year. He shouldn't be saying, I need to bring in veterans who can teach me how to win. He's supposed to do the winning. He's supposed to lead the team. He's not going to. Paul George was a mistake, and he checked out at the second half of last year. And that's a huge error by Daryl Morey. Stop, Bill. And look at the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers are going to probably go to the NBA Finals. Tyrese Halliburton is a very, very good player. Neesmith, Nembhard, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam. There's no Hall of Famers there, but they're a team, and Rick Carlisle, the coach, can play championship basketball with that group. If you're a Sixers fan and all you say is, I love Joel Embiid and I'll ride with him till I die, you're going to die because you're not going to win the championship. And if that's what you want, all we talk about in this town is parades, parades, parades. Well, there hasn't been one for a basketball team since '83. And that was when Moses Malone came to town and helped the Sixers win.
41 years since they've been the one conference final in 41 years.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not acceptable. So stop worshiping the stars. And I love how people say to me, as you said earlier, oh, he's old. What does he know? What do I know? I know how teams win. And I can tell you why teams have won over the years. And the Sixers don't have winners. They don't. Period. And I can tell you this right now. Don't go out and buy tickets to this team next year. Don't waste your money because they're not going to don't buy season tickets. I'm going to get playoff tickets. You're going to lose in the first round of the Hawks or something like that.
All right. Third overall pick. The draft starts at 3, which you could say, all right, well, now you get your pick of the litter from the top 2, or you can say, damn, we don't get the top 2. What would you do if you're the Sixers?
If I'm the Sixers and I can find a way to trade back 3 or 4 spaces and get a good player. Now, when I say good player, I don't mean some washed up guy who doesn't want to play. I mean somebody who can actually help. I would draft back and I'd get Jeremiah Fears, a point guard from Oklahoma. Now, he's not going to be an immediate huge return because he's only 18 years old. But the Sixers don't have a pure point guard. Maxey's a playmaker, but I think he'd be better off the ball. And McLean's a great shooter. So if you had a guy who could create for other people, get into the lane, make that pass to the wide open shooter, I think it would be great. I am worried about Ace Bailey. He's risky. He doesn't have a great feel for the game. I mean, that Rutgers team had Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper and didn't make the NCAA tournament. Think about that. All right. VJ Edgecombe, I think that he's somebody that plays the same position as Maxey. You talk about Trey Johnson. He's a gunner. I like Fears because he gives them something they don't have, which is a real point guard. Now, as I said, he's not going to come in and play 35 minutes and be an all-star this year. But down the road, he can be a real good piece.
And he's got good size, too. Ace Bailey, I did a really, really deep dive on YouTube for about 7 or 8 minutes and looked at the same tape that everybody does on YouTube. It's clear why you would draft him at 3. Potential. But
Yeah.
When you look at the reasons why, as you're saying, it's risky, would be, like, does he have good instincts for the game? He's out there. He's comfortable with taking bad shots and shooting threes. He's also 19. So you have to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to learn. But is Nick Nurse and is this organization the organization that's going to get a young player to learn, especially if you're bringing him in with Paul George, Joel Embiid, whatever other old guy. So you would trade back. You would trade back.
I would trade back a little bit and get Fears because I like that. I mean, look, here's the thing about Bailey too. Great shot. You're right. He's highly skilled. I saw yesterday on social media somebody said if the Sixers draft Ace Bailey, he'll be a huge disappointment. If they trade back and someone else does, he'll become a superstar. So I mean, because we're already talking about the buzzards luck that the Sixers have. Talent wise, potential wise, yes. I just don't know right now if he's the right guy to get. Again, it's such an imperfect team. Why not add another imperfect part to it? And let's make this a real mess this year.
Yeah. Utah picking at 5. Somehow there's a white guy they can draft.
Larry Martin. They can trade Larry Martin into the Sixers, and then the Sixers can get him. But yeah, I'm sure they'll get Con Knipple or something because they need the BAWG, the best available white guy.
Right. They're in Utah. They need that.
Yes.
What about trading out of the pick totally for a veteran?
It better be a good veteran. I mean, and I mean somebody that you can keep control of for 3 or 4 years, someone who is giving you something you don't have, and someone who's actually going to be a real positive impact on the team on and off the court. Don't just go shopping for alleged star names. You have to get someone who can help you win.
I believe Daryl Morey has the hottest seat in Philadelphia right now, heading into this offseason and heading into the season with really very little control. Yeah, he can make some moves at 3. Maybe he can trade for a veteran, whatever. He's more or less hoping that Joel Embiid can stay healthy enough, and Paul George kind of finds the fountain of youth or rebounds from last season. And even then, I don't believe that that's going to be enough. But which asks the question. I wonder if Daryl Morey, because here's what I would have done if I was him. I would have pitched, we're not going to win. We could keep Paul George. We could keep Embiid. We could go out and get another veteran. We could go for it because we're so pot committed. But why are we going to do that when it's not going to work? Let's get rid of these contracts. Let's get assets right now. We have 2 young guards that are nice players. We have the 3rd overall pick. Let's build this back up. He's not going to do it because when it doesn't work this year, they're going to fire him. He's going to get paid however much money he's getting for the rest of his contract. So, but like, that's the right move to make. So this year, you're more or less like it's a slow death march to not getting past the second round of the playoffs. And then we'll hear the same thing again. Oh, well, we're close. We just got to add to it. Like at some point, you just got to realize this isn't going to work, Michael.
Yeah, remember back when the Thunder had the big 3, right? You had Harden, Westbrook, and Durant. They made it to the finals, and they didn't win, and they then tore it all down. Sam Presti got 7,000 first-round picks, which he then maneuvered, used, traded, whatever, and built a team that's going to the finals back again. But here's the problem. Who's going to take Joel Embiid's bloated contract and bad knees? Nobody. Who's going to take Paul George? If we're sitting here, we're as you said earlier, you're smart. I'm smart. I know things, not like dumb, like people say. And we're not Fredo here, right? But if we can say that Paul George is a big mistake, who's going to take him in a trade? And what do you have to get back in order to get rid of him? You're not going to get great value for bad value.
No, you try to shine it up by getting a draft pick or 2, and really you're taking contracts. Honestly, with Joel Embiid, and it's a tough position for Daryl Morey because he knows he doesn't have value. If you wait another year, he may have some value, right? Or he may have no value at all. Yeah, who knows?
He could be in a wheelchair. Yeah,
right. So I mean, at this point, taking pennies on a dollar for Embiid's talent just to get out from the contract. Reality is that you're going to have to get a lot of money back because of the contract. And you just hope that you get expiring contracts in the next 2 years. So you can, again, the eye on the prize should be 2 or 3 years from now, not 2025, but they're not going to do that. So we're going to have to wait.
Yep, you're right. And I mean, and look at what the Suns did. The Suns completely ruined the Devin Booker experiment by bringing in Kevin Durant, who's just going to score, and then doubling down by bringing in one of the worst contracts in the NBA by getting Bradley Beal, who is a horrible asset to have. He'll score 1,000,000 points and never help you win. And he's got a complete no trade contract clause in his contract. So the Sixers are kind of in that kind of position because they can't get rid of George. They can't get rid of Embiid. They don't want to get rid of Maxey. So as you said, it's this year. Let's go with the Sixers and see what happens, but it ain't going to be pretty.
All right, let's turn our attention to the Phillies, as the big story in the Philadelphia sports community yesterday was, why the hell didn't they take a sword and chop off a Braves player's head after Bryce Harper got hit 2 nights ago? Where do you stand on the retaliation angle of what happened when Bryce Harper got hit on Tuesday night?
They had to hit somebody. Ranger had to hit somebody. I mean, it's a close game, so you don't do it late, but you have to do it. And now you say, "Oh, we're going to do it today." Are you going to make Christopher Sanchez do it? Are you going to make Zach Wheeler do it? Now it's one of those things where the umpires have probably spoken to Rob Thompson and said, "Look, let's not get into a beanball situation here." They've had time. If you had hit the first guy up in the next inning, it's over. Nothing else is going to happen. Now it's festering. Now it's simmering. Should they? Shouldn't they? These are the things. And this is why I hate the designated hitter, because the pitchers don't have to hit, right? If Strider comes up after hitting Harper, Ranger should have drilled him right in the hip. But no, he gets to sit on the bench and do whatever he wants. So, yeah, they should have hit the first batter the next inning.
So I totally disagree, because it was a 1-run game. And here's the thing.
Early.
The Braves know that if somebody gets thrown at, and you don't throw at his head,
No.
if somebody gets thrown out today, they're not going to charge the mound. So, like, now I know why Carlos Hernandez is still on this team. He's the sacrificial lamb. At some point today, if the game is out of hand either way, hey, Carlos, you know what your operation is today. And you peg Olsen in the butt or something like that, and it's over.
How about this? You use him as an opener.
And
He
just come
pitches
out
the
and drill
first
somebody.
inning. He comes out as the first inning, wham, hits the guy, tries to get out of the inning, and then Sanchez comes in the second.
That could have worked. I'm fine with retaliation. I am not in a 1-run game. I am not putting a game at a risk. Yeah, but you know what? You know what you're acting like? You're acting like NFL media that the Eagles can't be successful because Jalen Hurts won't throw the ball. It's like, I want them to win. I want the offense to score points the way I want the offense to score points. You're doing the same thing with the Phillies, because it scratches an itch for you, because you need to see somebody hit with a baseball.
Damn right.
No, it's not the way to do it.
I don't care about them. It's about me. Come on, John. You worked with me for a year. You know that.
I do know that. So a lot of trade talk as we enter June, and we're still, I mean, are we like almost 2 full months away from the trade deadline coming up?
Exactly. Almost exactly 2 full months.
All right. Agree or disagree? The Phillies do not need to upgrade in center field.
Not at the expense of the bullpen. No, agree. They do not.
Are you? I'm comfortable with what they have.
Any trade they make, look, they're doing things they haven't done. They're looking at more pitches. They're winning close games. They're getting their starting rotation is unreal. And don't be surprised if they keep putting marbles in front of Aaron Nola's locker, so that every time he walks out, he steps on it, hurts his ankle a little more. Because what they have right now, even with Taijuan Walker going tomorrow night against the Brewers, what they have right now is unprecedented in recent baseball history. So starting rotation is doing a great job. The bats are doing enough. They're walking more. They're making pitchers throw more pitches. They're not chasing as much. Even Castellanos, for crying out loud, is laying off some of that low and outside stuff that he used to drool over. They need the bullpen. Every trade they should make should be with the express purpose of adding high leverage bullpen guys. They need at least 2 and maybe 3 bullpen pieces.
Yeah, the difficulty in it, I know Reese Hoskins' name's been put out there, not by an insider, but just final year of a contract. The Brewers have underachieved this year. He'll be available. I love the idea of a right-handed bat. On this roster, it doesn't fit.
No,
I don't want him at first base. He can't be a DH because Kyle Schwarber's your DH. If Bryce did move to the outfield, that means that Castellanos is moving over to left. And I mean, listen, Kepler's been pretty good, right? Like, it's a numbers game. Hoskins just doesn't fit. If there's an injury or something else, we will revisit it. Right now, I would like to have Hoskins bat, but not as a full-time player. And I doubt you're going to trade what it would take to trade for him to have a bat bench, and he's not going to want that anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's what you have to give up. And you start to see all the proposed trade deals for Miller, the closer from the A's, and you say, I'm not giving up Justin Crawford for him. I'm not giving up. Now, maybe Mick Abel. Yeah, I mean, if you say you got Wheeler, you're not.
I'm not trading a young starting pitcher. All right, so with a caveat, because Abel hadn't even really shown potential before this season.
Yes.
He has underachieved since being drafted in the first round, right? So he shows the potential this year. Do you believe this is something now? It's like he's figured it out, or this is the highest value he's ever going to have, and that's why you trade him now. If the Phillies believe he's figured it out, there's no way you trade him. And I know there's a logjam at starting pitching, but if you suspect that this may be, let's trade him right now before he comes up, and after 3 or 4 starts, the league figures out what he does, because it would have to be a top guy. If you're going for a young starting pitching, former first-round draft pick for a bullpen arm, it can't be a Estevez or somebody like that you're bringing in.
No, you're right. But think about it. You have Nola, Wheeler under contract. You're going to, Luzardo's under contract. You'll probably extend him. You want to extend. I can't remember. Did they extend Sanchez?
Yes.
You got to make a decision on Ranger. You got Painter coming up. So, I mean, where's he going to pitch? So the best, I think that start that he got, remember, it was against the Pirates, who weren't scoring any runs. Okay. They were awful. Perfect situation for him. So his value is very high. Walks are his problem, and I think he walked a few in his last start when he went back to AAA. So I have no problems trading him. I wouldn't trade Miller or Crawford or Painter. Absolutely not. But if I can get a high leverage, really good arm that I say, now I push Romano back to the eighth inning, I push Strahm back to the 7th, Kerkering can pitch the 6th, we can mix it up, and maybe we find one more. Remember why teams win this World Series? They've got killer bullpens, because the guys who throw 6 in the regular season throw 5 in the postseason.
Yeah, and these closers and relievers are also like kickers sometimes when they lose it, right?
Yeah.
So, believe me, I agree with you. And when you look at the Phillies in the playoffs, as they did in 93, I was talking about this with somebody yesterday, their bullpen was cooked, right? They had to over-rely on Alvarado, and Alvarado's not going to get you out of every jam. This World Series against Houston, they had to go back to Alvarado multiple times in the same situation. You're not going to get that done every time. So they need 2 bullpen arms, 2 high leverage bullpen arms. I don't trust Kerkering in the 8th or 9th inning. Strahm is a lefty. I like him, but you need minimum 1 high leverage closer type at the trade deadline. And if the guy's good enough and he's all-star level and still under club control to trade Abel, it makes sense. Other than that, no.
And you mentioned Houston. While Alvarado was pitching every night, Houston was throwing 5 flamethrowers out there and mixing and matching them based on situation and availability. And the Phillies just couldn't keep up. So to me, the most important thing you need in the postseason is a bullpen.
All right, there he is. The professor from Villanova University, Michael Bradley,
who was in the
subscribed.
waiting room at 8:18. Okay, you wanted me there at 8:20. I was sitting there. You could have seen me down there. So
I can't see it.
Well,
and
then
that's my
don't blame me. Don't give me
my
the old
bad.
guy technology thing.
Well, last time we got times mixed up, and I apologize, but listen, I'm almost 50. So if I'm almost 50, Michael, I know you have your AARP card by now, and you can't be close to the next mile or that far away from the next mile.
That's for old guys. Look at me. I got more energy than everybody I teach. I go into a classroom and those people don't know what to do with me, and they're all 18 to 22.
Oh my God, you're going to be 85 and walking around a mall.
I'm never going to stop working if I can. As long as I'm healthy, I'm going to keep grinding, baby.
But are you a mall walker now, or is that for?
Hell no, I run 2 miles on the treadmill. I lift weights. I do my ab exercise. Seriously, when I hit myself in the stomach, I hurt my hand. So I mean, I'm telling you right now, it's not. There's no There's no mall walking for crying out loud.
No, you're in great shape. I'm saying later on, because I worked in a mall food court for many years, so I know about the mall walkers. Very nice people. I would like to be a mall walker one day.
No,
Okay.
I'm not going to the mall. Seriously.
All right. Thank you. Awesome stuff has always been. So next time I get Foley on, I'm gonna bring you on and just like
you have Foley on.
I was having Foley on during the football season, and then like always, he disappeared. And he's not responding. I for Glenn Foley, I have 7 Glenn Foley cell phone numbers because he just gets a new cell phone number like every year. So, and then
you got to have me on with Foley. That would be hilarious.
Oh, he's tremendous. He lives down in the Baltimore area now.
Does he?
With Yellow Dog and the young
Still?
kid, his young kid. Yeah, he's got a 4-year-old. Glenn Foley. There you go.
Wow.
All right, man. I'll talk to you, Michael. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right.
Michael Bradley will come back. Bet Park's parlay of the day and a lot more. Philly with John Marks. We are back after this. Back at 2-2. Thank you very much. All right, listen. How about this? All right. You're looking to get stuff done in your home, right? That like in my house, right? Like we've done so much work to the house, but we need new bathrooms. My house was built in 99. And we have the original bathrooms from the house. So it's like, all right, and that's not cheap to do. So if you don't have an extra, 50, 60 grand laying around, what about a HELOC, a home equity line of credit? That's right. From TrueMark Financial. Tap into your home's equity and finally upgrade your home office, build out a better space. Like me, I need bathrooms. It's a great low rate. And usually it's much lower than most personal loans. Flexible access, you can pull your funds all at once or when you need it, and there's no penalties if you pay it off early. So, TrueMark.com/PHLY to apply. Turn your work from home game into a winning play. TrueMark.com/PHLY. Terms and conditions apply. Visit TrueMark.com/HELOC for details. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender, NMLS 404938. There you go. All right, talk about Ashley. Oh, I love it. The low prices are blooming. Spring into savings right now at Ashley. Save up to 50% off living rooms, bedrooms, and dining rooms, and you're getting this delivered for free, ladies and gentlemen. Also, no interest long-term financing. That's what I do. I have no money. So, yeah. No interest, couple of years to pay it off. Bang. Let's do it. Spring into savings now at Ashley, South Jersey, and Philadelphia. Save on top brand mattresses and get free delivery setup and removal. But don't wait. Financing with approved credit. Minimum purchase required. Some exclusions may apply. See store for complete details. Hurry to Ashley. Visit ashleyfurniture.com for more information. We are back. All right, we'll get to the Bet Parks parlay of the day coming up here in a second. But I got to remind you, first of all, allphly.com. Rich Hoffman, who we've had on the show before. I love Rich. He does such a great job with PHLY Daily. It's in my inbox right now because I took a look at it this morning. And the headline is, what if the Sixers had traded for Tyrese Haliburton? A nice story up there. Everything with the Eagles from yesterday. It's your Philly sports page. And Rich takes the time to put it together for you. Goes right to your inbox every morning. And it's free. allphly.com to get that. All right. Also, our Diehard sale is going on right now, and you're saving 55% off year one. All right. You're getting Diehard access, 20% off events, 20% off merchandise, exclusive content. You have access to the Discord channel, a free shirt when you sign up, and you're getting the best content. Hang on a second. Bella, honey. Shh. Daddy's talking. Thank you. You're getting the best content out there. You are. Like our coverage of the Eagles with Zach and Bo and company, our Sixers, our Flyers, Charlie O'Connor, Bill Matz, everybody. Our Philly stuff. Tyler's doing a great job. Bob Cooney, Pat Egan. Best coverage of Philly sports in the city. It's $36 for the first year. So check it out. $36 Diehard Summer Flash Sale. It's live. I believe it expires today. allphly.com/intro to become a Diehard today. allphly.com/intro. Like if you're like me and I sample a ton of content, I'm looking for sports stuff, for non-sports stuff, for entertainment stuff, current events, current news, and everything. You have like your 5 or 10 websites that are pretty much like the 5 to 10 websites you go to every day. And allphly.com is my first stop. Sometimes I don't even make it out of my bed before I'm reading what we have up there. So definitely check it out. All right, let's get to it. Tyler's working Anthony's show today, but that doesn't mean he hasn't given us his leg of the Bet Parks parlay of the day. All right, there we go. All right, so he's taking Jacob Lopez. I love Tyler because he gives me almost every night. Every day he's giving us players that I've never heard of. Jacob Lopez in the A's Blue Jays game. The over on strikeouts 3.5. He gives analysis, which I'm not going to waste your time with that because he does it much better than me. But he says take the over on that. That's plus 102. I got to keep riding the and I was tempted to try to do a Phillies doubleheader parlay here and do both games. I am not going to do that because I have not bet the Phillies in a week and they've been winning. So I don't want to be blamed for when they start losing because rightfully so, I'd be blamed. But I'm going to go to tonight. The Knicks and the Pacers. You know me, 76ers fans for the New York Knicks. I am a 76er fan for the New York Knicks, and they've let me down this series. They really have. It almost seems like they came in to the series thinking, we just crushed the Celtics. Oh, yeah. We're going to the NBA Finals. And the Pacers are a really, really well-coached, good team. And the Knicks just haven't had an answer for them. So tonight, do they need the win? Of course they do. They're down 3-1. They're at Madison Square Garden. Does Scott Foster referee tonight? Maybe I should have checked this, but they extend the series. I'm going to take the Knicks on the money line, minus 175 to beat the Indiana Pacers. And I've been wrong the last 2 rounds anyway, so what does it matter? That is our Bet Parks parlay of the day. Hooah! We are back. A couple things here. I saw Bryce Huff wasn't at OTAs yesterday. Is it wise for Bryce Huff? It's voluntary. So wise for Bryce Huff after the season he had last year to not show up for OTAs? I don't know, and I don't care. If he already had something that he couldn't go, then he couldn't go. Do I believe that guys should always come to OTAs? I do. Darius Slay talked about it yesterday with the Steelers. He talked about how it was important for him to show his face and make sure that everybody sees that he's making a commitment and he's not being with his family. And this is what you do to win championships. And I saw a bunch of Steelers media, including my buddy Andrew Filipponi, who had said, like, he's not wrong. It's a shot at the Steelers. I don't know if it's a shot at the Steelers other than Darius Slay saying, like, hey, this is what we need to do. And I'm setting an example as a veteran that's coming in here. The Steelers don't have the talent to win a Super Bowl, even with Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, I Bryce Huff should be here. Bryce Huff wouldn't be here if he wasn't financially obligated to be here. After this year, they'll cut him. There'll be a bunch of fake rumors. It'll be like, oh, well, the Eagles would consider trading Bryce Huff. Remember last year at the trade deadline, a couple of the loser insiders were like, oh, the Eagles are taking calls on Bryce Huff. Oh, yeah, I'm sure the phone was ringing off the hook. They had to get operators standing by and get an 800 number for Bryce Huff. Give me a break. All right? Pawns in the media being used for that. But Bryce Huff has an opportunity to come in this year with no pressure because no one's even really talking about him. And as a situational pass rusher to get 6 or 7 sacks, and then maybe the Eagles can trade him. But I'm not even paying any mind to it. I'm not going to get my blood pressure raised because of anything that Bryce Huff does. The Eagles are coming off a Super Bowl, and they have the best defense in the league, and it's a young defense that has young stars on it. I'm not going to think about the negativity of Bryce Huff because honestly, I think he could be a part of a good rotation. They're going to need him. They're going to need his production. They've lost a lot of sacks, so they're going to need Bryce Huff. But whatever. You want to show up to OTAs, fine. Don't show up to OTAs. If you have something going on, some personal stuff going on, or whatever, that's fine. I saw somebody that somebody put out there about Ben Simmons. Could you bring Ben Simmons back? No. In the offseason. No. You don't bring Ben Simmons back. Could I bring him back because this is already a bleep show? And why not? Yeah, sure. You could. Do I think 76ers fans would welcome Ben Simmons with open arms? I would. Sure. I would. Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. If I was running the Sixers, would I bring Ben Simmons back? No, I would not bring Ben Simmons back. I wouldn't. But yeah, like I never had ill will for Ben Simmons. I didn't like the way that he handled himself. But I also think that, if like people want to stick up for Joel Embiid and say, well, this happened, also this happened, and this happened. All right. Well, Ben Simmons clearly had some type of anxiety about shooting the basketball. And then once they started fouling him and he couldn't make foul shots, he was totally cooked. It's like making a second baseman not being able to throw to first base, a catcher not being able to throw back to the pitcher, a pitcher not being able to throw to the catcher, Rick Ankiel. Yeah. Yeah. So that was part of it. And B threw him under the bus. Doc Rivers threw him under the bus. Daryl Morey threw him under the bus. And you know what? He sucked. So, I mean, I don't necessarily feel bad for him with that, but like whatever. Ben Simmons is done. Who's giving him any type of contract next year to go play for him? No one's saying like, he can't shoot, but he's this great defensive, but he's an elite defensive player. See, that's the thing with the 76ers, with these zombie 76ers fans. You said the same thing about Ben Simmons before you wanted him out of town. All I heard, Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. You don't know what you're talking about, the elite defense. These are the same people that are just droning on and on about Embiid. I saw somebody in the chat this morning that said he's better than SGA. What is wrong with you? Who cares about Joel Embiid? Let him come out. He's a great talent. He's an all-time 76er. He won an MVP. Like, literally, I just want to look at Joel Embiid as having a very good 76er career, as being one of the top players in franchise history, and he also never made it to a conference final. And that's that. And that's it. I don't want to talk about it past that. Get him the hell out of here. Problem is he's making $60 million this year, and it's going to be tricky. And if he comes out and he can't play a lot of games again this year, now you're going to be talking about, all right, well, like, how do you get insurance to pay this? Or will the league give an exemption because he's just not healthy enough? I hope that's not the case. And Daryl Morey says that, no, like, well, he's going to be fine. We're confident he's going to be fine. Yeah, my hiney, he's going to be fine. You believe that? I got some stock tips for you. That's for sure. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. I believe Tyler is back tomorrow as well. In studio again, or out of studio again, because my home office is actually coming along decently. I got some artwork from the children. I have my pennant from my college. I have some memorabilia and stuff up there. So, just a few weeks ago, didn't look great. Now it's starting to come along. We need to work on Tyler though, because the blinds, the apartment blinds aren't a great look. And he's like looking up at it. So we got to work on Tyler. Let's if you're watching on TV, let's finish up because it's time for overtime. Bow. All right. We appreciate you. If you listen on the audio podcast, thank you. Rate, review, give us a 5-star review. And you can always watch on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube every morning, thank you. If you're live with us, as the chatters are, many of our community chat live, thank you. If you watch later on in the day, perfectly acceptable. We like that. Like and comment on the episode. Tell us what you're thinking about. Reese Hoskins, you want him back. Would you trade Ranger Suarez for a bullpen piece? We'll talk about that again coming up tomorrow. But we appreciate everybody. Thank you, Julia, for producing today. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. Anthony is live right now, so click on over to him. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.